And we welcome you to AEW Double or Nothing preview here on This Is Wrestling. It is one and only Versage. Look who's here. The Zote. The Zach of all trades. It is Zach McGibbon. Zachary, how are you?
I like that you give me gimmicks, but when I try to put together a gimmick for myself, try and, exhibit my creative freedom like a new man gimmick, like, nah, that gimmick's not going to work, brother. We're giving you this. The Zote gimmick is over. It's like, all right, I guess I'll run with this gimmick. It's like when Steve Austin turned heel and he's like, look, I feel like it's time for me to turn heel. And I feel like I have enough stroke to be able to pull it off. But apparently it's a very, very, very bad idea. And so I feel like that's the comp here. So yes, I am the Zote. Some might call me the new man. Some might call me Z Gibbon.
I'm gonna stop you here. Okay. Look, I'm all for creative freedom.
Yeah.
Although, like, this is a show of two.
Yes.
And you're not first. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you can be second, you can be third, you can be whatever. You're a very important cog in the wheel here. But you're not first. And so I'm all for creative freedom. You know that.
Yes.
But when you try to get your own gimmick over and then the very next show destroy your own gimmick, I'm not giving your gimmick back to you the following show. Does that make sense?
Look, the timing of doing the new man gimmick wasn't a great idea. I should have known that the WWE PLE would have made me mad in certain ways that I didn't think I would be mad. So that's on me for that. But I feel like we can restart this thing and really try and get this thing over.
Okay.
With some tweaks, there could be a dual personality thing where I keep saying I'm a new man, but then I just keep on losing my mind. And that's the joke. Whereas, like, he keeps saying he's a new man, but he's not really a new man.
No, I'd actually like to give you the new man gimmick again and say, like, fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, shame on me. So I'll give it back to you. And then you'll have to review Saturday night's main event and Clash in Italy.
Oh, boy.
And you're a new man.
Well, look, if the rumors of Baron Corbin returning to WWE are anything to go off of, this is going to be a real tough test for the new man gimmick. So, you know what? I appreciate it, though. I do think of when you say, not first, I think of the Ricky Bobby quote, if you're not first, you're last.
Right.
So that is still kind of lingering in there, but I will take on this gimmick. I'm going to say, yes, finally creative has let me run the ball with my own gimmick. Yeah. And I'm going to show the people why I deserve the TV time. In this case, the YouTube streaming time to be able to perfect and master this gimmick. So I'm a new man. I feel ready to go. And you know what? This is the time to debut the new man gimmick, I think, with the way this AEW show has been looking.
You can get this new man gimmick over in this show and probably in the review.
Yep.
I'm guessing. But after that, it's all over. And
it's going to be tough with the WWE shows for sure.
All I think about with this new man gimmick, what was Steven Regal's?
Oh, he's a man, such a man. He's a real man's man.
Real man's man.
Yes.
And
which is a great, I love the sod. It's just, there's the Titantron video of him like squeezing an orange and like him doing like construction work is fantastic. Like, it's so good.
The video when he was wrestling Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
And he popped him with the music.
Yeah, they ribbed him.
Like, and you could see he totally broke.
Oh, it's so good. Fantastic.
All right. Well, we have a lot to get to with AEW. AEW. I was thinking of your who is it?
Vladimir Kozlov.
Vladimir Kozlov. Yes.
I love double E.
Oh, so good. So good. So let's begin our AEW Double or Nothing preview with the buy-in.
Really?
Yeah.
We're starting with the buy-in? Usually it's like,
I know
we're ignoring the buy-in and whatnot, but you're bought into the buy-in here, Lee.
Well, who's on the buy-in, Zach?
Well, it'd be one Mick Foley that's on the buy-in, going to be co-hosting with Renee Young. Or Renee Paquette, I should say. I can't believe I said her old WWE out of all the names. Jeez. Renee Paquette.
But Mick Foley being on AEW, does that mean anything to you? Do you think it brings credibility to the preview show?
I mean, in terms of the preview show itself, I mean, it is interesting. I do think he's a name, and the fact that he's been associated with WWE for so long. I know he had the run in WCW in the early 90s, Cactus Jack. Still some great matches, by the way, that people should go back and watch in the early 90s. But I think people associate his time in the WWE, WWF, specifically Hell in a Cell, of course. So I think this is a nice coup for them because Mick Foley, obviously, he's made it clear about TKO and their allegiances with this current administration, and plus his views on WWE. And so to be able to have a guy with a recognizable name like Foley, especially part of that era, I think having him involved in some way as an ambassador and being supportive of your brand, I think is a bit of a coup for AEW. Now, we'll see what they do with him. I know he's done color commentary before, and I thought he was an all right color commentator. I don't think he's really going to knock your socks off. But in terms of having that sort of recognizable name be associated with a brand, and I saw Tony Khan also mention in his tweet, oh, it's first time the Cactus Jack is back on TBS and all that. Like, you can make those associations as well with Mick Foley. But it makes it a little bit interesting and see what kind of direction would they go with Mick Foley, if any, if he's going to be involved more with the AEW product.
Yeah, I don't mind him on the buy-in, the 0 hour, or whatever you want to call it. As a color commentator, I don't have any use for him.
Yeah.
He's not concise enough, and this is me saying that.
If Lee Versage is saying that right. It hits hard.
Exactly.
Almost to the point, you might say.
But I've been a color commentator where I've known I've had to be concise.
Yep.
And you would think that would come into his brain, but no. But they have so many good ones right now. Like between Nigel McGuinness, between Bryan Danielson, of course. I think Taz is decent. He's not my absolute favorite, but I think he's better than Mick Foley. So they have some good ones. So they don't need Mick Foley kind of coming in there. It'll be how they use him is going to be everything. But I think you're right that he's a big enough name. And I think he's going to have a couple of things to say because I don't think he's going to be worried about going back to the WWE. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I think he's done. Like, done with that company. So what can he bring? I guess we'll see.
Do you think he wrestles? Do you think he wrestles at all?
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not either. I don't think the probability is 0 on that, by the way. I think there's a small chance.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially with him there's the stuff about him talking with MJF about a program. And obviously, if you want to go even further, John Moxley, when he was Dean Ambrose in FCW, there was talk about him doing something like that. Look, I mean, Sting came back and had a program and he was 64, 65. Now Foley has a lot more bumps on the bump card than Sting had.
And they team Sting perfectly with somebody that they were going to bring up. And
exactly.
Will they do that with Mick Foley? I doubt it. So we'll see. And I certainly don't want to see him go to like Adam Copeland. Before, like, he had the big feud with Edge and like, I just don't need that.
No.
So we'll see how they use him. But I think it's a possibility of it being like a decent coup for them, depending on how they do it. Now, we should talk a little bit about Dynamite leading into Double or Nothing, because some of the actual news and, kind of allow us to a retake or depending on how they go about it. Willow Nightingale comes on and not only says that she's out of the tournament because of an injury, but she also gives up the TBS title. And we thought she was winning.
Yeah.
Like, to go on with the TBS title to challenge Tekla for the AEW women's title. So there's a whole lot up in the air on the women's side. Now, what did you make of hearing that? Because I was a little bit shocked. You hadn't really heard that.
Yeah, I was surprised. Didn't expect that news. Certainly didn't expect her to relinquish the TBS championship at this point, too. Just bad timing. It's bad when the title has to be relinquished. So that leads me to believe she's not going to be at All In either. So that makes it tough. And so now it's a wild card, right? That's kind of filling in that slot. Whoever this wild card will be. It really kind of changes up who we think could potentially move on, because the wild card, obviously, as the name suggests, is a wild card. Whoever could be in that. I know this is stunning analysis here, but but I do think it changes it up a little bit. The other person I had kind of as somebody at least going to the finals was Saray. Considering her background in Stardom, and I think this would be a way to kind of get her familiar with the AEW fan base. She's a very good professional wrestler from the matches I've been able to see of hers. So I think you could potentially make the switch and say, okay, she wasn't going to be a finalist. She wasn't going to be just the finalist. Now she's going to be the winner. I could see that being the case, but it really does kind of throw a monkey wrench in everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like,
Not sure
I
still?
don't know. I just don't know that, when they put the title on Rio, when they put the title, like, Hikaru Shida, I don't know what it's really done. You have to be able somewhat to express yourself. And the reason that Tekla is great is because she's a decent in-ring performer, but she's got a character that kind of nobody else really has.
Yep.
And the combination has her up top of the women's division. Like, the first and last question that should be asked is, where is Mercedes Moné and what is going on? Right? Because if she is available, are you not skyrocketing her right back to the top? Like, she's not held the AEW championship, right?
Not the women's world championship. No,
Yeah.
she's only been TBS champion. And obviously the 11, 12 other belts, Ultimo, Mercedes run there. So.
But I think we need to put our thinking caps on to who might be the wild card. Will they look outside, and will it be a name from outside that'll come in with a little bit of a pedigree here? Or will they use someone that they already have? Like, who else with the 7 other women that are there in the Owen? I know you said Saray, but I just cannot see, and I would love it, Zach. I would absolutely love it. But I just can't see them putting her like on top in the biggest match in the, I don't know, like at All In. Are people going to be really behind that? What?
It would obviously have to go back to build, but
well, how do you build someone that doesn't speak English?
Well, I mean, you could still put over her pedigree and talk about how she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and now she's coming to AEW, and you can certainly make a case for that, and have that be part of the overall push of Saray. So there are ways to do it, obviously, when in terms of putting somebody over. I look at it more like it's somebody else. It's another promotion's talent. Are they willing to put over, even though they have a promotional relationship with Stardom? Are they willing to go that next level and have somebody else that represents another company be somebody that wins the biggest tournament? It would be, honestly, for me, it would be very refreshing and something different. And it would show as well on AEW's side their ability to be collaborative and put other wrestlers over. But I can also see the argument as well for Saray of somebody that, she's somebody on the Stardom roster. She's not part of the AEW women's roster, so we're not going to go all the way. We might have her as a finalist or somebody that goes deep into the tournament because she provides great depth in the tournament, but otherwise tough to put her over the edge. So.
All right, let's get into the card, Double or Nothing. And they've had to switch up the match. So now it's going to be Athena and Mina Shirakawa, right? In the quarterfinal of the women's tournament. there's an argument that either one could go on to win this thing. So I love the fact that they have 3 quarterfinal matchups, and they're all very interesting and should be really good matches. Let's start with the Mina Athena one, because like I said, there's an argument for both of those women to move on and not only win this match, but maybe go on and win the whole thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I said on the last show with Athena, sometimes I think people think higher than what her push actually is, and I understand why, because Athena's the Reign of Honor Women's Champion and she's held that belt forever, and she's main evented pay-per-views on the Reign of Honor shows. But when you see her on the AEW show, she really doesn't go that far in the tournament when they put her in a tournament style. So it is interesting, because you look at the last couple of weeks with Mina Shirakawa, she's somebody that's been heavily featured, but she hasn't really won a lot of her matches either, especially in tag matches. No, and if you really want to showcase somebody, obviously when you want to showcase somebody to their best abilities, you have them lose every week. But in this case, it really is a coin flip on who could win in my mind. I'm going to lean towards Athena. Having said my thing about her and her push, and about Mina in terms of her focus, but I'm going to lean towards Athena making it to the next round. But I think it's like a 60-40 sort of scenario here when it comes to that match.
Yeah, I do too. Like, because there's, like you said, I don't know why sometimes they bury people before they put them over. And it's like lose. Oh yeah, we really like them.
Yep. It's a Tony Khan thing. Like, if there's somebody he doesn't want to push right away, but he likes, like, he'll put them in like some featured matches with some other wrestlers and they'll lose, but they'll keep on losing to some of those established guys. You get familiar with them and it's like, okay, you're familiar with them now. They've looked impressive in their losses. Mm-hmm. And then now we're going to push forward with it. I mean, that's what happened with Konosuke Takeshita when he debuted in AEW, is that he had that sort of treatment. Kevin Knight had that same sort of treatment. You now see him getting the TNT championship. So there are certainly wrestlers you could point to where that method has worked. You can even argue Kyle Fletcher to an extent. Mm-hmm. So it's funny. It's one of those weird things where that's not a bad thing in AEW, because there is that pattern and that history of, okay, now they're going to move forward because they're waiting for the spot to finally kind of push them and say, okay, they've been featured enough. People are aware who they are and they know how good they could be in these matches, so that even if they lose, they still look solid against some of these top guys. And then finally the push comes in. So yeah, it is kind of funny though, how that kind of works. Cause if you were to tell me that was happening in WWE based on their pattern of booking, I would just be like, oh, well, that guy's never, or girl is never getting over, because they just clearly don't see that much in them.
But that's not the case, certainly for Tony.
Nope.
I just can't get out of my head that they need to bring somebody back for Willow Nightingale. That's all.
Are you thinking of a certain DMD, perhaps?
Certainly am.
I
bring it up every time.
I know. This is your, like, maybe it's Britt Baker. Maybe now is the time, you know?
But is now not the time? Who in this tournament can go on and face Tekla as a baby face and draw money in London? Tell me somebody bigger than Britt Baker.
Be tough other than Mercedes Moné.
Yeah. Well, Mercedes is number one.
Yeah.
For sure.
That would be tough.
But if Mercedes comes back, is she definitely a face?
It seems like she's going to be more tweener to heel, I think, when she comes back. She's going to want some vengeance for the title belts that she lost. And
I agree. So this is not the spot to bring her back. You can bring Britt Baker back into the fold and make her a full babyface.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just saying.
It'll eventually, one day, Lee, I just know how it's going to work. One day she's finally going to return, whether it be for AEW or WWE. And then you'll be like, see, I told you she was coming back. I told you. Sure, it took me 3 years or whatever she was last on TV. But now is the time, and I have told you all.
But I've learned that this is the strategy of a lot of people. Like right now, not to get too far off topic, but right now, there's a certain guy that used to play for the Ottawa Senators that's in one of my group chats. That's the most annoying human being on the face of the planet.
You've told me.
That, like, and he's been a Mitch Marner backer forever and ever and ever and ever. And like, who cares about the 10 years he's thrown up all over himself? Let's go for this year where he's had 9 good games and like they beat Utah and Anaheim.
Yep.
Not exactly 2 of the biggest powerhouses, but he had a good game 1. And I'm flooded, inundated with this stuff like 10 times a day because that's how it works. Trevor Harris was another example in the CFL.
Yep.
Right? Could never win the big game. Had 2 good games. Literally 2 decent games. Not even great. Decent. Won a Grey Cup, and then that's all you hear.
Yep.
So
it's the what have you done for me lately mentality.
Right. So I'm gonna go for that and
I can't wait for the victory lap.
Pick Britt Baker to be.
You are going to run around the palatial estates of Ashton, Bo Dallas style, running around doing laps, pointing at yourself.
Whose house?
Lee's house.
Whose house? My house. My palatial estate.
Not Paige's. This is my house. You're not going to do the Paige one. Remember when she returned to WWE? That was a big thing.
This is an AEW show.
Oh, sorry.
Zach. Come on.
sorry. I couldn't help myself. I'm a new man. You're right. I'm a new man.
Okay. Speaking of which, the beginning of Dynamite had Jericho and the Young Bucks. And I have to say, I'm watching this promo to open up the show. And I'm like, why are they throwing to a promo to open up this show? Like, before we start, we go to the Bucks or somewhere in Portland, Maine. Like, in Chris Jericho, and they're doing the Forefathers and like, why'd you attack my dad back in the day? Like, it's well, I'm sorry.
That's enough nowadays. You know what? I can appreciate that. You beat up my dad, but you do a handshake and I'm sorry, and then it's all
you
water under the bridge.
Life hell. You beat up my dad. Who cares? I'm sorry, man. Oh, okay, great.
It's what we were mentioning with Mitch Marner and whatnot. What have you done for me lately? We forget about the assaults on fathers in years past. We're talking about now. We got a Stadium Stampede match to look forward to.
That's a nice segue, Zach. That's a nice segue. Because
I've been doing this now a little bit, and I'm starting to pick up some things. It only took me 8 years in the industry to figure it out, but we finally figured it out.
So, but the whole reason they're doing this is because he does the stupid line at the end where they're like, oh, we got a great name, the Bucks of Jericho. And I'm like, okay. And then Jericho's like, no, like, I had Y2 Jackson. How about the official name is the Bucks of Jericho, or is it Y2 Jackson?
Question mark.
Right. So they leave the promo, and I'm like, this is just terrible. Yes. Like, why would they do that? And then Jericho comes out in the Young Bucks jacket, and on the back, it's got Bucks of Jericho, or is it Y2 Jackson? I pop.
Oh, there you go.
I'm like, okay, it makes sense. Everything they did. Welcome to the show. Here's Chris Jericho on the edge of the ocean in Portland, Maine with the Young Bucks. Why? I don't know. Oh, it's to get this name over. The Bucks of Jericho, or is it Y2 Jackson? And then he's got the jacket. Like,
you're in.
I am. Like, I'm in.
I'm not going to lie, Lee. I'm watching this as they were debating what the name was going to be. And I'm like, I honestly don't really care what the name is going to be. Like, Like at the end of the day, does it really matter?
Yes.
I
Because
mean,
you can sell t-shirts.
well, I'm not an executive for them. I'm not looking. It's like, I'm not sitting in the creative means like, what's a great name to really sell some shirts? I'm not that guy. Okay. I'm not in the creative room with the 726 other agents.
Zach, their name is the Bucks,
The Bucks
of
of
Jericho,
Jericho. Yes.
or is it Y2 Jackson?
Question mark.
That's their name.
That's the name.
That's incredible. What is bad about that? Tell me something negative about that. It's crazy long.
Mm-hmm.
There's now t-shirts out. He's got the Bucks jacket with it all on the back. Like I just couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't get enough of it.
I was like, oh, this funny name. I don't know. I just like I wasn't as I was just like, oh, that's the name. I can't wait to remember this name in 2 weeks after Stadium Stampede. But I don't know. It didn't hit me as much. I was just more like, we're cutting this promo. I'm trying to envision the call to Jericho. It's like, look, we got this great idea. We're gonna go in front of this lighthouse in Portland, Maine, and we're gonna come up with a tag team name there. Not backstage, not in the locker room. We're gonna do this at some location in Portland, Maine. I imagine maybe there's some tourism element to it, but
it's inspirational. I've been to Portland, Maine. It's a fantastic city.
I've heard lovely things about Portland, Maine. I know nearby, one of the independent promotions, Limitless Wrestling, runs a lot of Portland, Maine, and I know some people that have wrestled for Limitless, and they talk about how they enjoy that area. So, look, I'm not trying to denigrate or put a bad name to Portland,
that's
Maine.
why they did. They went out, they promoted the town, and they got a name over, all in one promo. This is the magic of Jericho. So it will be Chris Jericho, the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, and the Hurt Syndicate. I like how they're the afterthought.
Yes.
In this. I think that's my favorite part of it. Going up
I figured you would really like that.
Yeah. Going up against the Demand and the Don Callis family and the Dogs. There's a lot of people going on in this Stadium Stampede match. Yes. I'm just going to tell you right now that the Young Bucks are not losing. If you think Jack Perry's losing the national title to then get all of these guys together on a team and Jericho to come back and them to lose, and the Hurt Syndicate, we know Bobby Lashley's not losing. So
yeah, no, not gonna work for me, brother. My shoulders, they can't last more than 3 seconds on the mat. You got to find some other finish, brother.
Well, these are weird matches for me because I always go into them thinking I'm not looking forward to them. Like a 7-on-7, how the camera is going to even capture all of this. It's a brawl around Arthur Ashe Stadium. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't hit the marks for me. But usually when they do the match at the end of it, I'm like, that wasn't as bad as I thought. There were some good moments. So for you, like, what do you like the Stadium Stampede concept?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. When they adhere more to like a Memphis style brawl all around the building, and it's a little bit more of a violent affair. But sometimes I get that confused with Anarchy in the Arena. And quite frankly, Lee, I don't really know what the difference is between Anarchy in the Arena and Stadium Stampede, other than one's an arena and one's in a stadium.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's the only major difference. So make of that what you will. I'm trying to remember if the Eddie Kingston coming out with the fire with the gasoline and then all the blood in front of him was an Anarchy in the Arena.
Anarchy in the Arena.
It was Anarchy in the Arena. Okay. Well, I can't say that's my favorite Stadium Stampede moment. The Stadium Stampede, the first one that they did, other than Matt Hardy doing the teleportation gimmick, which I was like, I'm out. I don't need, Lee, I'm consistent across the board. I know I'm a new man, so I'm not going to lose my temper here. But you know, I've been nothing but consistent on this. You know, all the people that get mad at me, it's like, oh, you're so hard on WWE and you're so soft on AEW. At the time, go check the tape, Lee. You can confirm this for me. I said I was not a fan of the teleportation gimmick because I want no magic in my pro wrestling. I've been nothing but clear about this. So,
look, it's an AEW show.
yes.
But speaking of, Marcus writes, I'm doing the bedtime routine as well because Richard said he was doing a bedtime routine.
Yep.
But before I forget or fall asleep next to the boy, does Danhausen curse continue tonight against the Cavaliers? Zach, Magic's real. 22 points. The New York Knickerbockers were down.
Yes.
Danhausen cursed them, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And what happened, Zach? The Knicks come all the way back, get to overtime, and then beat them in overtime. And by the way, one of the worst betting beats in a very long time. The Cleveland Cavaliers were plus 6.5 going into game number 1.
Oh, wow.
So if you had them at plus 6.5, it's a mortal lock. You're like throwing things at the TV because you didn't bet on them the money line, that
right.
You took them at plus 6.5. And the only thing that can happen as it's coming down the stretch is the game goes to overtime. And of course it does. And what'd they lose by, Zach? More than 6.5. They had a 22-point lead and lost at plus 6.5 in the fourth quarter. That's crazy.
Yeah, I watched that game too. That was a wild basketball game.
But Magic, Danhausen, it's real. So I don't know what this new man gimmick thing is, but Magic in wrestling is real. It's proven. What, Dan, have you seen all the wrestlers that Danhausen curses and it doesn't go well for them? And now he's cursing sports teams and it doesn't go well for them either.
Lee, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. No.
I'm just telling you, those are the facts.
No, it's happenstance, Lee.
No.
It's happenstance. You're one of those people that's like who was the singer that had like, oh, it's got to be like red M&Ms only or red Skittles only in my dressing room, which is just an excuse to be a prick. Like that's all he really wanted to do. Okay, let's just be honest about that. Not about some sort of I do this and I perform really well. No. So
lever, says Marcus.
No magic. I'm not doing magic.
I was gonna say I'm not doing Matt Hardy. Like when Matt Hardy comes out, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, period. You know what? That's a great point, actually.
Like, when Matt Hardy's on the screen, I'm not interested. Like, sorry, I'm not.
But Lee, he can slap a tornado. He can dry up a sea. When he lives for the moment, there ain't no one better than he. That's Matt Hardy from his the V1 phase or whatever. The little
don't ever do that again.
No,
whatever that was.
That's from his theme song. I felt like that was very creative and unique and different. And
let's remember this. Let's remember
Matt Hardy fell flat on his face.
Yeah, let's remember this about Matt Hardy. This is what I remember about Matt Hardy. Other than when the Hardys were at their very peak, they were obviously a very good tag team.
Yep.
But this is what I remember from Matt Hardy, and I know this is probably awful and good for him for like looks like he's found what he's looking for in life. But when Lita cheated on Matt Hardy with Edge, and then they made it out into a storyline, the WWE's idea were like, it's going to be a storyline. It's going to be so hot, but yeah, Matt Hardy, you're not winning. And he came back and he lost his girlfriend. And then he lost matches when he came back to the guy who stole his girlfriend. Okay.
He can slap a tornado though, Lee. Gotta think about that. Yeah, no, I totally agree on Matt Hardy, especially so with the magic. Like no teleportation, no curses, no lightning strikes, no fire engulfing stuff, no pyro getting set off by a point to the corner. Lee, I don't need this. I
All right,
don't need this in pro wrestling.
Okay, let's move on to the other quarterfinals of the Owen Hart tournament that are going to be at Double or Nothing. Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay. I don't know why they waited to have Will Ospreay and Katsuyori Shibata on Collision afterwards, and I had to go to, again, the USA Network on Canada and make sure that that was recording. And of course, it was late, so I got 19 Crave promos in a row before the show started, and I'm like, now you're doing Will Ospreay and Shibata? Come on. I don't know what to say other than what we've said before. Every time he's out there, I can't remember a guy that genuinely people are rooting for because of the person. He has endeared himself to people. When you're a great wrestler and you've endeared yourself, they say one of the hardest things to do, right, is to be that true baby face, because people don't love to cheer, or people like to do the opposite. So at some point, like even with Cody Rhodes, people want to cheer against him because that's the cool thing to do in professional wrestling. Nobody cheers against Will Ospreay. Nobody. Like, the casual fans love him. The hardcore fans love him. Anyone who comes in, they're like, yeah, this guy's awesome. And Zach, I honestly can't remember. I'm sure there are, but I can't remember a guy that's come in that was like so genuinely loved by not only the casual fan or the person who just goes and watches maybe Dynamite once every 2 or 3 weeks, and they're like, yeah, I really like that guy, or people like you and me that watch every week and don't love baby faces, but we love that guy.
Yep.
And so it's just an incredible thing that Will Ospreay and AEW have. And a quarterfinal matchup against Samoa Joe, like I'm here for it. And the Death Rider storyline and learning and having a new finisher and doing all of these things to try to get to that next level. Like, I'm here. Take me on the ride. And I'm the hardcore guy. You're the hardcore guy. It's the casual fans that they usually want to take on the ride. Take me on the ride and get me to the final destination because I want to see that guy win. That's usually the casual fan, because the hardcore fan is going to be there anyway.
Yep.
But I'm the hardcore fan. Take me on the ride. Like, I am on the Will Ospreay ride. And I'm telling you, if the Will Ospreay ride doesn't end well, it's going to be hard for me to forgive the company. Like, if he doesn't go on to win the Owen and win the world title in London, it's going to be hard for me to forgive the company. That's where I'm at because I love this guy so much. And that's crazy, isn't it?
Very.
So I'm just writing down Samoa Joe as your pick?
No, don't do this to me. Look, I know I'm not the master of predictions. I wish one of my gimmicks could be master of predictions, but I can't do that.
That's me.
Yeah, it is you, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, and it pisses me off sometimes, if I'm not going to lie. But nonetheless, I'm not going to go that crazy, not going to be that bold. There is a part of me that after all that love fest for Will Ospreay, which I agree with, just for the record, but after all that love fest for Will Ospreay, he just gets pinned by Samoa Joe middle of the ring, and that just ends the Wembley chances right then and there. There is a part of me that wants to see that just so you can come on to the show and just be like, similar to like when Bill Goldberg returned and like had his matches. Like, I don't have a problem with Bill Goldberg as much as others do, but I want to be on the show with Lee Versage when Bill Goldberg returns and talk about how much you love Bill Goldberg, or when Brian Cage returned on Dynamite last week.
Yeah, Brian Cage is one thing. Bill Goldberg might be my least favorite wrestler ever.
Yes.
Or like a guy that really got near or to the top.
Yep.
Least favorite ever. Like, I do not like him.
Yeah. And look, I don't blame you either. I'm not saying he's, Toshiaki Kawada. Okay. I'm not saying he's a great pro wrestler. but I never was as bothered about him as other people were, because his matches were short and you could get him done and over with. And you know me, Lee, I'm a simple guy. I just want to see a dude beat up another dude, you know? So was it great when he really beat up Bray Wyatt and the magic stuff? He's like, no selling all the magic stuff. Yeah, it was great. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it. Was it bad booking? Absolutely. Did it totally set back the trajectory of the Fiend? Absolutely it did. But in the moment, I loved it, you know? So
I love how William Regal fought Goldberg. That's what I loved.
Yeah, there you go. That's another good one. Because Willie Regal's like, all right, son, we're going to work. You're going to learn how to work. And he's gotten him, you know, trapped in like a hold. It's like, oh, geez, what am I supposed to
Goldberg had no idea what was going on. Yeah. And Regal could have destroyed him.
Oh, it was so good. But in terms of this match, Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay, yes, I'm picking Will Ospreay. I'm not, look, you gotta like think I'm better than that, Lee. You really thought I was going to go Samoa Joe?
I'll test you on the other one then.
All right.
Bandito and Swerve Strickland. Whose house is it, Zach? Whose house is it? Because you presented on the last show a path for Bandito to get to the finals to wrestle Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. And it intrigued some people. It intrigued me. Did it intrigue you enough to pick Bandito in this match against Swerve Strickland?
Well, look, that's what good co-hosts do, Lee. They try and find different paths that make it interesting so that you get the listener engaged. You get the listener tuned in. It's like, okay, this is interesting. I didn't think of it that way before. And you know, that's what a good co-host does.
That's the point. Well, hold on.
I agree. Great job. Great point, Lee. Great point.
That's what a great co-host does. The object of shows like this, Zach, from the hosts of the show, which is me and you.
Yes.
I forget which order, but
you said first and everybody else said if you ate first, you're last.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
I said that
part of it.
I said that.
I think you tied for second, which is good.
Tied for second?
Yeah.
Now I got to know who else is tied. Who am I competing with? Am I competing with Tanner Ryle, who's currently living it up in Mexico?
No.
Thankfully, he messaged me saying he was not nearby Arena, Mexico. Otherwise, he would be chanting Sin Cara. Right. And I'm like, man, that would have set off an international incident, especially that entrance that I don't know if you saw Mystico's entrance recently.
I did.
With the singer. Oh, this guy's a superstar. And yet I got to commend Tanner. That man is committed to the bit. I respect a person who's committed to the bit. Right. That man is committed to him.
Who are you picking? Are you picking Bandito? The path that you chose? The whole idea of shows like this, the host job is to have the listener say, you know what? I heard Lee. I heard Zach.
Mm-hmm.
But they really went in two different directions. I actually think there's a third direction. And they take a little bit of what you say and a little bit of what I say, and then they come up with their own path. And that's the beauty of it. That's our job, is for us to create their path. Now, it's a ridiculous path once they get to the ending, and they're like, oh, yeah, Lee was right the whole entire time. But they thought that they were smarter, and that's the job. So, great job on Bandito.
Mm-hmm.
Are you picking him in this quarterfinal?
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm not picking him in this quarterfinal. I all that buildup is no, I'm not picking him. I would like to see it. I would be pleasantly surprised. I think a Will Ospreay Bandito match would be awesome. I would plop money down and watch that match if it was pay-per-view, TV, whatever. But
the path there is that probably Brody King is going to beat Claudio Castagnoli.
Yep.
That match is not on the pay-per-view, so that's why we're not talking about it. But you would get a Brodito matchup in the semifinals to go to the finals of the Owen.
Mm-hmm.
Also intriguing.
Yep.
You're still not doing it?
No, I'm still not doing it because I think in terms of what story do you want to get over more, it's the Will Ospreay story, and the Will Ospreay story would be better with a Swerve Strickland in the final. So it that's how I look at it. Now, let it be known, Lee, if it is Bandito and he does go to the final, I will still claim victory.
See,
and I know it won't be right. But
me for that's what I would do before. You're going to run circles and do your victory lap, and you're picking him to lose in the quarterfinals.
Correct. I'm getting my cake and I'm eating it too. I'm doing a lever sage here.
Well, then you're not a new man. No, you've done this for a long time. Then you're not a new man at all.
I feel like that's actually quite the opposite. In fact, I think this is a new man. I'm trying to find new paths for the new man.
I'm also picking Swerve Strickland. I'm wearing his shirt.
Yes.
And I don't see that path. I think it's an intriguing path. But like you, Will Ospreay overcoming Swerve Strickland is a match you would pay for again at Forbidden Door. And they're going to have all these like nice matchups at Forbidden Door and intriguing matchups, but there's always got to be one that's going to sell the show. And that one would sell the show.
Yep.
Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita for the International Championship. Okada's been gone for the last couple of weeks. This one has one of the closest, in fact, I have odds up for all the matches. This is the closest one out of any match. There is a favorite, but they're not heavily favored.
Right.
Who do you think the favorite is, and who are you taking in this match, Zach?
Well, I'm going to guess the favorite is Okada. I'm going to pick Okada.
Konosuke Takeshita, minus 200 is the favorite.
There you go.
Kazuchika Okada, a plus 150, is the underdog, but not a huge underdog. Why are you picking Okada?
I think they're going to go with Okada only to just kind of extend the story a little bit longer, but not like crazy long. I know it's already been pretty lengthy. We're talking all the way back from World's End. Even before that, if you want to look at them teasing the separation. But I'm picking Okada only because I think as a feud continuer, it is close because I could see it going both ways. I'm not going to be doing the Bandito thing and being like claiming victory on that because I genuinely, that one I feel like I earned that one. But in this case, I don't know. It's very much a coin flip. I'm gonna pick Okada only for the reason of I think they're gonna extend it just a little bit.
Did you just reference something that you didn't actually pick? Like, I'm not gonna do it like the Bandito one. Like, you didn't pick Bandito. You picked
claiming victory. I'm still claiming victory if that happens. Though. If it happens. Now I kind of want it to happen just so I can claim victory.
Well, is this the first time we're going to disagree? I am going to pick Konosuke Takeshita because, number one, he got pinned by Darby Allin without Darby Allin even hooking a leg on him. And this, to me, falls absolutely flat if Kazuchika Okada beats him and they continue on for this feud. I think you can continue the feud with Takeshita and Okada in the family with a sulky Okada and Takeshita rubbing it in that he's the champ. You can still continue the feud. But I always ask, so they have Takeshita go out, lose to Darby Allin clean. Then Takeshita's going to come back. He lost, obviously. He was a bit of a transitional IWGP heavyweight champion. And then he's going to come and lose to Okada here. Then what? So I do think it's time for Takeshita to still be in the family for a little bit, but be the babyface in the family and have that title and maybe feud a little bit longer. So I do agree with you that the feud continues, but I do think Takeshita wins the title. Fatal 4-way for the AEW Women's World Championship. Tekla taking on Jamie Hayter, Akira Shida, and Chris Statlander. Just what do you think the odds are again? 1 through 4 here. And you don't have to give like the exact odds, just who's first, second, third, and fourth.
Well, before I even do that, Lee, first of all, correction. It is not WWE. So it is not a fatal 4-way match. It is a 4 corners match. Thank you very much. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that stickler. But it is not a fatal 4-way match. It's a 4 corners match, Lee. Come on. This is AEW. In terms of the betting odds, I'm going to say the favorite is Tekla, number 1. I'm going to say number 2.
Hold on. It does say 4-way on the AEW.
But not fatal 4-way. My issue is the word fatal.
Fair. Okay.
Yes.
You said 4 corners match. So we're not right as well. So now we're just meeting
4 people in a match. They're taking on.
No. You're not going to claim victory, but it says 4-way. It's a 4-way. I said fatal. Take it out. You know what? I'm wrong. You said 4 corners. Also wrong.
Just saying.
Tekla's number 1. Yes.
I tell this to folks on the independents as well. It's not a fatal 4-way. Don't say it in your promos. It's either 4 corners or 4-way dance or whatever. But fatal 4-way, the WWE thing. You don't have to say the WWE lingo.
I eat craft dinner, Zach. I blow my nose with Kleenex.
Yep.
There's a lot of different things that I do with brand names.
Yes.
Okay. It's not macaroni and cheese and it's not tissue.
But WWE is not the only pro wrestling, is what I say. So you don't have to say.
Thank God.
Anyways.
Imagine if it was. Right
now. Imagine, like, I'm probably not doing the podcast if they were the only one. Like, we probably touched, like, you know what, Lee, that was a fun couple of years. And
nice run, but
nice run.
Over.
As soon as the cloning machine came out, I was like, Lee, I don't know. I think this is not for me anymore.
Cleveland Cavaliers, you are cursed.
Yeah, I'll be like, you know what? Not really feeling this one. All right, to your odds question. I'm going to assume number 1 is Tekla as the favorite.
She is favored to win, yes.
I'm going to say number 2 is Chris Statlander.
Okay.
I'll say number 3 is Hikaru Shida, and number 4, Jamie Hayter.
So you have the 3rd person correct. But
Jamie Hayter is number 2.
Jamie Hayter is number 2 at plus 250. Tekla is minus 500. Pretty big favorite to hang on to the belt here.
Yeah.
But Jamie Hayter at plus 250, not crazy low odds for her to win. The other 2 pretty much are. Like at 9 and 10 to 1. Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander last. Again, why they, I don't know. Jamie Hayter's in a tag team, but she wrestles singles matches all the time, and I'm not sure why.
Well, her tag team partner is also in the Owen too, so it's
right.
Like, you know.
But then the tag team champions who are dominating Megan Bayne and
Lena Cross.
What's her name again? I always forget her name.
Lena Cross.
Yep, Lena Cross, who are dominating and like just being bet. They don't do this.
I don't mind when the tag team, like, here comes Zach mentioning All Japan again, Lee, but I don't mind when, like, you had, Kawada tagging with Taue and going after the tag team championships, but also Kawada will go after the singles championship.
Right.
And part of the faction. I don't mind that personally, but I get where the critiques are coming from, because it's like, well, the other tag team is also staying as a tag team. It's like, why can't they go singles as well?
Well, if you're going to do it with everyone. That's all.
Yep.
Well,
and to be fair, that's what All Japan did too. So it was
right. And I would prefer that. I just like to see Lena Cross. I'd like to see Megan Bayne. I'd like to see some of the other women go after singles titles and still be in tag teams. By the way, TJ is back. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah, get fired up. Yeah. You know what? If Anna Jay wants to go to WWE, she can. I'm okay with that. when I saw the news, I wasn't like, oh no, don't go. Like I wasn't. Take Jack Perry with you for all I care. Like, do it.
Oh, don't be like that.
I think Jack Perry would be a great fit for WWE. Great fit. He can bring his bus with him, and he can bring the.
Does anybody have a chance to beat Tekla?
Nah, I think it's gonna be Tekla.
I didn't think so.
I'm more like Chris Statlander. Come on, like, why are you still partnered with Hikaru Shida even though you don't like this woman? Like every promo, it's like oh, like I can't believe you would say that. It's like, just leave. Yeah. You're not like signed to a contract with her. Like, move on.
So I'm going to get to my real first critique. Sure. And I know some of the AEW fans aren't going to like this.
Oh boy, here we go. I'm strapped in.
But two guys I really, really like. Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley for the Continental Championship. Zach, you're going to have to explain some things to me that I don't understand. Number one, with these eliminator matches, them explaining that if they last the time limit, that it's like they win the match because they get their shot. I don't understand that. So just as a concept, if you get an eliminator match, so all of a sudden I get a match against Jon Moxley. All I have to do is not lose, and then I really get a title shot? Shouldn't I have to beat the champion to get a title shot? But no, they're not going to do this. And then now the thing that's really bugging me, and again, I really, really like both of these guys.
Yep.
And I understand that Kyle O'Reilly has tapped Jon Moxley out twice. And he almost tapped him out again at the end of their match on Dynamite. But when it ends, Kyle O'Reilly rushes over and goes to the mic and says what, Zach?
He's like, no, I want this to be a victory. Like, this should be a victory over Jon Moxley.
So next time, there's going to be no count out.
No time limit.
No time limit. Zach, please tell me the rules of the Continental Championship.
There's a time limit in the Continental Championship match.
So who the hell is Kyle O'Reilly who didn't beat Jon Moxley? Okay? Didn't beat him.
Yep.
Just is in a draw, a 20-minute time limit draw with a guy, has really no more credibility towards the title than anybody else, but apparently now he does because the rules say so. But the whole thing about the Continental Championship is that it has rules. Nobody's allowed at ringside. It's a 20-minute time limit. These are the rules of the Continental Championship. And because Kyle O'Reilly went to a time limit draw, he decided that this was going to be a no time limit match with the only title that has any rules whatsoever. Like, all of these titles have no rules. All of them. You want to do this with the national championship? Go ahead. But they have these eliminator matches that Kyle O'Reilly did not win, and now he's demanding stipulations that completely contradict what the rules of the Continental Championship are. I like both of these guys. Not happy at all with this scenario. I'm picking Moxley. And Moxley cut a great promo on Dynamite.
Oh,
like just an incredible one with his wife standing there and the rest of the Death Riders about Game 7. I don't miss. Like, I'm yes, John. Yes.
Gets it. He gets it, Lee.
Yeah.
That man's not saying fatal 4-way in a promo. I can tell you that.
No, please don't.
That man gets it.
Anyway,
okay?
I like a lot of what they're doing here, but you can't just change the rules with the only thing that has rules in pro wrestling.
correct me if I'm wrong, and I know the super fan is not in because he's not under the weather. So
Yeah.
all the best to the super fan, but
Well, yeah, with that sell, clearly not all the best to him.
oh
You
jeez,
you hardly sold that at all.
I don't have the Versage
I know
cadence
that's
or whatever.
you're right, you don't.
So I halfway committed because like, should I say the thing or am I just jumping on Lee's bit here? So I went halfway because felt like either way you would be like, hey, whoa, that's gimmick infringement. Like, what are you doing? I'm supposed to be like,
Yeah.
and then Tony Tribble would come in and
always err on the side of like doing something in full, not
yes,
what you did. Not
yeah,
not
just
enough.
I you know what? I have to fully commit. But nonetheless, so unfortunately, all that say, unfortunately, he's not here to correct me if I'm wrong. But has this title under John Moxley been defended without a time limit before? And if I recall, it was against Konosuke Takeshita that I believe this title was defended under. I believe it was earlier this year without a time limit. I could be wrong. I am going off of the top of the dome here when it comes to that. So I will confirm that for you here if there was no time limit in one of their matches. I agree with you in terms of creating that stipulation. Why does the challenger have that stipulation after a tie? I agree with that. I thought that I don't mind the idea of like it being a tie because the guy didn't lose. Like you're not going to want to do another one of those matches. So it's the idea that you were competitive with the champ, and while yes, you didn't win, you also didn't lose. So you will get the title opportunity. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with O'Reilly just making the stipulation and the challenge for the no time limit. It's like,
Right.
that I'm like, well, I'm much more comfortable with the champion being able to do stuff. And I know why they did it, because they're trying to tell the story of, John Moxley's fearful in the John Moxley kind of way of he doesn't think that if it goes past 20, he's going to survive Kyle O'Reilly. I get the story and I understand it. And in some ways I really like that story because it's very simple. But it's super effective. And John Moxley's very good, as you mentioned with the promo, of getting that over. I just didn't like the way that they got to that stipulation. So I don't have a problem with it. I did do a Google search, by the way. So John Moxley did successfully defend the Continental Championship against Konosuke Takeshita in a no time limit match at the AEW Revolution pay-per-view back in March.
Well, that okay, sure. You just can't have rules, and then when you get to the pay-per-views, you're not going to have rules. Awesome.
I believe this no time limit, though, it was different in the sense that the last couple of times those two guys had faced off, it went to 20-minute time limit draws. So that's why they went to the no time limit. It's like, we need a winner in this. You can make the argument of going this quickly in the year to going back to another no time limit match. It's kind of cheating. I can hear that argument for sure, because it's only 2 months after that initial match, 2.5 months. I can hear that argument for sure. I see where you're coming from though, Lee. Having said all of that, my pick is also John Moxley. I think this is set up for John Moxley to finally overcome Kyle O'Reilly. I like the idea. I've always been a big proponent of like, you just have that one guy that you just can't seem to beat. You're a top guy. You could beat everybody else, but there's this one guy that you match up stylistically, and for whatever reason, you just can't beat them. It's like the New England Patriots with the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. For whatever reason, other than having these otherworldly teams, the New York Giants just found a way to beat them each and every time they were in the Super Bowl. So I like that idea and bring that into pro wrestling, and Kyle O'Reilly being that guy for John Moxley, I think is a cool concept because it makes sense with his style of wrestling that it would kind of catch John Moxley off guard. But I think it's being set up the way that they've done it. And this story goes back all the way last year to Blood and Guts. And I put over that finish, the Blood and Guts. It was such an awesome finish. And I was standing up and like, yes, this is what they need to do. This is kind of the conclusion of that, from that story. And I think it's going to be John Moxley being able to overcome, especially when you've been doing this story with Will Ospreay of, finding that killer instinct to try and take yourself to the next level. I think you could tie that back in with the Kyle O'Reilly stuff really well.
By the way, 1 minute into game number 1, Montreal and Carolina, 1-1.
1 minute in.
1 minute in.
Wow.
Seth Jarvis and Cole Caulfield have already scored in the first minute.
Well, Cole Caulfield's my guy in the fantasy team. Yeah. He's the one that's keeping me alive, but
yeah,
I'll take a Cole Caulfield goal.
Yeah, I have Svechnikov who got an assist, by the way. I have Marner and Eichel and Carter Hart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gabriel Landeskog. I'm good. You're not catching me.
Yeah, but 50 goals scorer Cole Caulfield, Lee. That just trumps all, in my opinion.
What? Darby Allin, MJF for the AEW World Championship. It's title versus hair. I still don't love the gimmick, title versus hair. I think they've done a wonderful job at making at least me think I don't know who's going to win. It could be either guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if either guy won. So I think they've done this nicely. I didn't love when Darby was like, no, I'm turning down $1 million. Your money's no good here, Max. I want your hair. Which is going to grow back.
Unless they're plugs, Lee, and the way that it's like dug in, the plugs come out. I don't know. There's no guarantees, Lee.
If the plugs are in, they're still going to be in, no?
One would think. I don't know how hair plugs work so clearly, as you could tell. But who knows? Maybe it'll never grow back.
Well, maybe.
Some people, you do the shave off, and then for whatever reason, it just doesn't grow back.
So I don't love the hair versus title. I think they could have done more with this. But in saying that, after I didn't like the stipulation, I don't think they've done a terrible job at least having both guys look like they could go over. So I'm very interested in your pick for the AEW World Championship, Darby Allin and MJF.
I'm picking MJF, even with the hair gimmick that they've put in and the stipulations and them really teasing it a lot. I'm still picking him to get the victory. I think this Darby Allin run was a lot of fun. Essentially defending the title at least once, if not twice a week, every week on the show. And they've already been telling the story of Darby getting beaten up, and he's been pushing his body to the limit, and might come back to bite him at Double or Nothing. So I just don't see it with, I'm pretty sure MJF has some other movie obligations coming up too, and I just can't see him going into that unless there's something where it's like he has to do this movie bald and whatever. I just can't see him being willing to give that up. I think this is a nice little stipulation, and you could save that stipulation again for a future match, because clearly you've established with it how much it gets at MJF losing his hair.
Yep.
So you could save it for a future draw afterwards when you introduce it. So certainly not something you can't throw out, but I think the whole story from the minute the Darby Allin pinned MJF in 5 minutes after the 4 coffin drops and then the side headlock takeover was that either A, it was going to be a short title reign where he holds on to it, it's Mick Foley style, but then at the next pay-per-view, somehow, some way, he was going to lose it. Or B, the same thing, but what we're seeing now is with a guy like Darby, he goes out there for the company and puts his body on the line and defends it each week. And now it's finally coming to the forefront of his body, reaching what it can. Very similar to the Orange Cassidy storyline a few years ago with the International Championship, to the point where I think both you and I, Lee, were thinking after that, you got to put him in the main event picture. But but then they didn't, and he is not a main event guy at this point. So all that to say, I think this has been a fun title reign. I really enjoyed it. I like that they did something different here and made themselves stand out. And at the perfect time, where you have the other company. I know we were trying to limit the WWE mentions, but I think it's a fair comp where when you have what the other company is doing when it comes to their entertainment segments, their ads, the PLEs being very long and focusing on other things, that you on your company is like, you know what? Our world champion wrestles each and every week and defends the belt each and every week.
Yeah.
I think it's just perfect timing. But I think this thing has run its course. I don't know if you could continue with the gimmick that Darby had much longer after this pay-per-view. So I'm going to pick MJF to get the belt back in New York at the Louis Armstrong Arena and getting the championship back. I think it was a fun little deviation on this path. And then we're going to get back to where we're going with MJF.
Well, not here, Zach. Not here. Because I told you, and I told everybody else, this is going to be Flair Steamboat. And what happened? Steamboat beat him for the title. Then they had the middle match where Flair's foot was clearly on the rope. Both shoulders were down. Not just Flair's. Both shoulders were down and his foot was on the rope. But what happened, Zach? What happened? They had to have another match. And MJF is going to lose. And he's going to go bald. And whether he's doing a movie or whether he's not doing a movie, I think with his hair plugs, he's not worried about his hair growing back in. I believe that. And Darby Allin's going to continue, and this will continue on a little bit longer. But MJF will get his title back. It won't be at Double or Nothing. Darby Allin's the favorite, by the way. I thought that would surprise you a little bit.
I am surprised that he's considered the favorite.
I'm surprised that Montreal scored again.
Oh, jeez. How about that?
Crazy. I'm surprised too, but I do think that they've set this all up for a bigger push that MJF is bald and everyone's going to make fun of him. You see the bald signs in the arena this week on Dynamite. Like, I think they're going to lean into this for a while before he somehow, some way gets his title back. Because the crowd, you're almost killing the crowd, I think, if you're doing it right now. Because they're just starting to get into this yelling bald at him, which I don't love that they were doing the Ricochet Jericho thing.
Yeah.
But I think this has taken off. And I think it's been good. And I don't think they want to stop it yet. And I don't think there's a need to stop it yet. They will find the right time to do this. And look, we all agree that MJF's getting the title back, right?
Yep.
You think he's going to get it back on Sunday? I don't, but I still think he's going to get it back.
Yep.
I think there's going to be a massive, massive pop when Darby Allin beats MJF again. And I also think it legitimizes Darby a little bit by beating him twice. He'll always have this. He will always have beating MJF twice. And going off the air with Darby snickering at Max, running around like an idiot, bald as anything. I think that's awesome.
I can see it. I can totally see that too. In terms of this is not the place that's going to happen over in at Louis Armstrong Arena, Double or Nothing, doing it on TV. But I could see that being a scenario where you could do a big television match on Dynamite
Yep.
And
Told you. The title turned on Dynamite.
Yep.
And then it's going to turn back on Dynamite.
Yeah, I could see that as well. I'm looking at the visual of, I'm looking at the idea the other way around of like MJF wins on pay-per-view, and he continues to win on pay-per-view. He's going to win on pay-per-view again.
Right.
But I'm not opposed to your idea at all of having the title being the way that it was lost in the first place on television. And again, another big TV moment. So, but yeah. I still feel like with all that said and done, and I'll even throw a bone to you in terms of,
let's go
of the way that they could approach this is you saw with Roosh on TV saying, if you win, I want that title shot if you win at the pay-per-view. Yep. So you've already got that set up after the show if you want, but nonetheless,
Kevin Knight also telling him again,
yep,
I beat him, you have to beat him, and then we all want your title. Same thing.
Yep. My only concern with it is I worry that it becomes a little bit too long at that point. You know what I mean? Where where you start to like this seems like in my opinion, this is the right time to take the title off of him, just from a potentially, hitting the peak of what the story can be.
But if they did a big, like, they've already announced that Beach Break show coming up in, like, what is it? Tampa? Not Tampa.
Yep. Well, the Beach Break show, yes, but I don't think it's Tampa. I'll search it up here. But
it's actually in Florida. It's like in Clearwater, I think.
Yeah.
So they've already announced that. You can just highlight one of your big shows for a couple of weeks that MJF is finally, like, he's going to get screwed, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing better than the guy who screws everybody all the time that finally gets hosed by like 2 or 3 bad calls that happen, but he loses and he's got to lose his hair and he whines and cries, but they do say, like, you probably deserve a rematch. 3-1 Montreal. Like,
wow,
it's wild. So you can do all of this in another month or 6 weeks tops. Like, by the end of June, you're doing this. All ends at the end of August. So you're going to need a good build up towards that. So I agree with you. If it goes longer than like a month or 6 weeks, they've probably passed the point of it. But I think you could get some mileage out of ending the pay-per-view with MJF bald, looking like an idiot, Darby laughing at him. You do a few weeks of this on television and he rants and raves because he absolutely gets hosed by a couple of bad calls and his hair had to go because of it. And then you just build up to the big one that people really want to see back on TV, and you pop another big rating and off you go. So that's it, Zach.
Did we talk about the FTR Cage and Cope match?
Oh, I missed it.
Okay.
Well,
I think there's one more match.
I forgot. Cope and Cage are going to win. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, you don't see them retiring as a tag team at this point either, eh? Not feeling it. Yeah, the Cage and Cope tag team that's known for their work in Canada, and you're gonna have them retire as a team in the tennis stadium in New York. Like, yeah, I agree with you. I think they're winning the belts here. I would be surprised if that is how they ended it. If that was how they ended it, I can't rule out them potentially doing a one-on-one match. And
it would be great. I would love that. And I'd love to be wrong, but I just think one last run with belts before maybe they both ride into the sunset in the fall or in the winter, and leading up to All In, and have, like, we still think, right, that the New Day are going to be there. The New Dawn, the New Day, like
Yeah.
whatever their name is going to be.
Yeah. Old Knight.
Right. You're going to have Edge and Christian. You're going to have the New Day. You're going to have FTR. You have the Bucks. And people are going to call it one of the greatest 4 ways, Zach.
Thank you.
You're ever going to see. By the way, very, very, very funny that the WWE looking to rekindle their tag team division after.
Yes. Well, you hear the tag name that's being thrown around? You see the latest tag name that's being thrown around to potentially help out with their tag division?
No, Zach. I'm scared to ask.
Lee, sounds like you're SAWFT soft.
Yeah, that makes total sense, actually.
I gotta be honest. I think that's perfect for them.
Yeah.
That is a WWE signing to a T, especially with this audience. Like,
yep,
makes total sense.
And good for them. I hope they get it. Like,
because Big Cass, his contract is coming to an end, and Enzo has always been available. Because shockingly, Lee, not a lot of wrestling companies want to sign Enzo Amore to their roster full time.
Yeah,
they usually come in for a couple of shots. I think the biggest, I know he appeared on TNA one time because he was trying to get this gimmick over. It didn't really work. But other than TNA one time, he had just been making appearances for MLW as Enzo, NZO. And so I think it makes a lot of sense. Look, you could make the argument. I think Big Cass is a better worker than he was in 2018. 2018, he was a bad wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, I remember him having a match with Daniel Bryan and it being bad. And I'm like, if you're having a bad match with Daniel Bryan, you don't belong in the pro wrestling ring. Like, it was that bad with him. Now, I think he's gotten a lot better since then. Obviously, you know, outside of his wrestling career, he's really turned his life around. And I think he's understood his role a bit more. He's obviously ginormous. So I think he's going to fit much better in this WWE system. And then, of course, Enzo Amore can just talk and he can do his silly little catchphrases and the fans will eat it up. And that's how you rebuild a tag division, Lee. You get rid of the Motor City Machine Guns and you bring in Enzo and Cass. That's how you rebuild a tag team division.
Yeah, you get the New Day out of here and you say, what good are they? And you bring in... I saw this story that they're going to refocus on like teams they already have.
Yeah.
And you know the first team that was mentioned? The Miz and Kit Wilson. I'm like,
yeah, of course it's the Miz and Kit Wilson.
Fuck. Oh my God. I love the Miz, but oh my God.
Yeah. Not exactly the Miracle Violence connection.
Sorry, I forgot Cope and Cage beating FTR in an I Quit match, Zach, to continue to go to All In and be a part of that show. They're going to help draw with that show in one of the biggest tag 4-ways you're ever going to see. They're not going anywhere yet. Ask us in the fall. Maybe that changes. But they're not going anywhere now. So I apologize. It was just a foregone conclusion that they were going to win, but I didn't mention it.
Well, +2, you were so excited. We're going to start with a buy-in. I'm like, all right, let's talk about Boom and Doom getting in their tag team match. Let's go.
Let's talk about the fact that you and I disagree on how many. So we disagree on the main event.
Yep.
Okada,
and we disagree on Okada
Takeshita.
Yeah. I think we're the same everywhere else. I don't think we disagreed on Athena Shirakawa because I said Athena.
I said Athena as well.
Yeah. I said Tekla.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just those two, I think. You tried to catch me with the Samoa Joe. I'm like, no, don't look. I'm already bad enough as a predictor. You don't need to like add more to my plate. Okay. I'll do it myself. Okay. Like,
right.
As soon as I made the Okada pick, I'm like, I'm gonna lose this.
Yes.
Like, I because it's always the close ones, and I never, ever win the close ones.
I think
never,
you are losing that one.
Ever. I'm gonna lose that one. Every pick I make, I'm like, I'm gonna lose this one. Why do we do these prediction shows? We've established on the show that I analyzed. Lee, I'm a tremendous analyzer. I'm very good at breaking down these matches and looking at these wrestlers and seeing their futures. I've been pretty good in terms of like scouting wrestlers, I do that, but we do these prediction shows, and I just, I'm flopping over here. I'm like, I'm not the booker. Like, I'm not in the room. I don't want to be in the room with these people where they're trying to pitch all these ideas, Like, I don't want to be in the room being like, what do we do with Anthony Bowens? I don't know. I think we tried so many things with him. I'm sorry picking on Anthony Bowens, but they push him a lot on TV.
You really are the road dog. Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even want to say anything right now. I'll just fold my arms off of the corner.
I could see it. Yeah.
If I'm not going to get my ideas crossed, then I don't want to say anything. So, but no, I mean, I already know how this is going to go. We're going to come into the Double or Nothing review, and you're like, it's good, Kashta. And I'm sitting here, is like, yeah, what a shock. It's like, who's the boxer from Mike Tyson? I'm Glass Joe over here.
Glass Joe.
It's like, I beat Glass Joe again. It's really not that impressive at this point. It's more sad, if anything. But
what is impressive? 4-1 Montreal.
Oh my Lord. Have we even gotten to 10 minutes left in the first period?
Yeah, 11 and a half minutes. Gone.
Why couldn't Freddie Anderson have just come back to earth in like the first or second round?
Right.
Like, I mean, I think in the back of our minds are like, this Freddie Anderson run is not going to last that long, is it? But alas. So you just know, like, you just knew when the conference finals hit, it's like Carolina, they're going to find a way. You just know with Carolina, they're going to find a way.
That's the story now, which is hilarious. Which is absolutely hilarious. That will be the story. But Montreal had to get him early. I mean, off for 12 days. Montreal was like, they're going to tire at the end of the series. So, but we'll have all of it on the West End, which will be great.
Yes.
And we got a Red Blacks preseason game tomorrow night. We won't be doing pre and post game for that, Zach, but
no,
we will be come regular season.
Yep. I'm looking forward to that. But Lee, you were like, no, we're not going to be doing, who's the guy from TCU? We're not going to be breaking down Max Duggan's third quarter on the pre-show or post-game show.
So I was out at Red Blacks practice yesterday.
Yep.
And saw Max Duggan, and actually I had a couple of important people in the Red Blacks organization tell me about him and some of the things they liked and a couple of things they didn't like about him.
Interesting.
But I can tell you that I think there's going to be a very, very either big fight to see who starts on opening day, or if it is the incumbent in Drew Brown, there's going to be a very tight leash.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Jake Mayer has been the best player at camp. So
there you go. Well, it's interesting then that Drew Brown isn't dressing for this Friday's game then. Like, I know technically it's supposed to rest the starter in preseason and you don't want to get them hurt, but if it's that close, it does kind of make it a little bit more interesting, an opportunity then for Jake Mayer to come in and play well. And look, I joke about Max Duggan, but I'm more joking in terms of the post-game stuff, but what a story Max Duggan is when you break into it. Just his ability to come back on the field and all the stuff that happened there, like, and the fact that he led that TCU team to a national championship. We'll ignore what happened in the end there with the national championship, but the fact that they even got to the national championship, I mean, I think it's a great story. And so it's cool to see that he's still grinding and just trying to get a spot in camp. So
so we're gonna have all of it from hockey to football to baseball. There's big things in June, of course, with the OHL draft, the NHL draft. We got a lot of things coming up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the OHL draft stuff. I'm excited. We're getting that stuff worked out. I think there's gonna be some cool content coming out of that. And what else was good? Oh, I'll be at C4 tomorrow. Yes, of course. Yes. We're looking forward to, I know you'll be good at that review. I will be bringing it. Right. Because, our friend Tanner Ryle, who's on vacation, might be listening in. He obviously would not be able to make it down to C4 from Mexico in time. So, but some time has opened up and I was like, you know what? I've got some time. I think I'll be able to make the drive down and go to C4 and check out the show. The card looks really good for C4. So I'm really excited about that. Some of the guys that they've announced, Jonathan Gresham is going to be on the show.
Yeah.
And he's taking on Hot Stepper, which should be a very interesting match. There's a lot of really good. The Blade is also booked for the show. They've got some other international talents coming in. Nikki XS. So I'm really looking forward to this show and seeing what they bring. Should be a real fun one. So I'll be down for C4 tomorrow. So hopefully, if you're somebody that's listening in, hopefully see you there.
Well, Zach's a new man.
That's right.
And as we sit here on May the 21st, in the next 5 weeks, you'll have a Saturday night's main event. You'll have a clash in Italy, and you'll have Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. This should go really, really well.
Oh, look, we're going through the gauntlet. It is definitely a gauntlet. But you know what? That's what makes great gimmicks. If they're able to stand through that gauntlet.
Yep, I agree.
Look, admittedly, rough start with Backlash. Was a rough start. But it could only end positively, I say. We'll get this through.
No, Zach, that's false.
No?
It can end another way.
Oh, I won't let it end another way.
We'll see about that.
Now, until the magic happens, or until, we get the less than an hour of pro wrestling on the 4-hour show, which will happen. I'm telling you it will happen. And I will be on here, I will be on here discussing it, not ranting about it, because I'm a new man, but I will bring it up. Yeah, we're going to be running the gauntlet here. It is going to be a big test, but we are going to figure it out at the end of the day.
But you do know the card for Saturday night's main event, right?
I know that Penta El Zero Miedo, or El Zero M, or Pentagon, or Penta, or whatever name, Pentagon Jr. He's taking on Ethan Page for the Intercontinental Championship. I know that. So Canadian represent over there.
Got the Vision against the Street Profits.
Yep.
Page and Brie Bella against the Irresistible Forces.
Well, that's going to be tough. All right. We'll get through on that one.
We have a non-title Women's Intercontinental Championship match with Becky Lynch and Sol Ruca. Non-title.
Yep. That might be good, because I do like Sol Ruca. We'll see. That might be good.
A non-title match?
Look, I'm a new man, Lee. I'm trying to find these positives here,
Lee. Well, I will tell you that we also have a 6-woman tag with Rhea Ripley and Charlexa going up against Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab. Now that should be good.
Look, Rhea Ripley's a big star. Charlotte Flair's a big star. All the stars are here, Lee. So get fired up. I'm sure we're going to get the best Jade Cargill and the best Michin and the best B-Fab.
Yep.
And boy,
Paige will be great.
Yeah, the holds, Lee.
In that match,
the holds in those matches are going to be, those are going to be some deep holds, I say. So I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. I'm a new man, Lee.
Ethan Page might be the best guy on the card for me.
Yeah, not a great looking card.
It's a Saturday night's main event. This wouldn't be a good Raw. Okay, this isn't a WWE show, and we gotta go. But
we gotta go.
Still 4-1. They've calmed down. There's 5 minutes left in the first period.
Of course.
Yeah. So we will have this one from Kyle before we go. Guys, any news on the Hogan bio review? Lee, did you ever see him live? How was the pop during Hulkamania? I'll save that for the show. Kyle, I can tell you I saw Hogan many times live. I was at the big event with, God, we went over that. Like, how many people were there, Zach? Like,
at least 60,000.
At least 60,000 people at Exhibition Stadium. I was 11. But I often went to Maple Leaf Gardens and in the height of Hulkamania and saw Hogan. So, yes.
Yeah, 10 million. As Hogan would say, yes.
Oh, yeah, 10 million were there. Yeah.
The whole country was in attendance.
Don't think 10 million were there, but I was there.
Yeah.
Exhibition Stadium, 1986.
There you go.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that, Kyle. And yes, it's coming. We are trying to find, we're going to do some shorts, but then Ben got sick, and here's our preview show. This is our second time this week.
Yep.
And then we're going to have a Double or Nothing C4 review.
Yep.
Coming up on probably Monday. We'll do the Hogan stuff next week.
Hopefully. I've got time off next week, so we got plenty of time to record it. I might even be over at the Palatial Estates.
Oh my God, the Palatial Estates.
That's right.
Not ready for you to return.
No. Only felt so long ago, which was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
2 or 3 weeks ago. The lawn has grown a lot, Zach, since then.
Oh, still haven't got. Oh, yeah, that would make sense. The lawnmower or whatever. But
no, I went and got it back.
Okay, good.
I went and got back and did it last night because I like the Palatial Estates to look good.
That's right. You know what? You're right. You got to live up to the name of the Palatial Estates.
That's right. So I will be out there weed whacking tomorrow morning.
Nice.
Tell everybody. But we do appreciate you listening, Kyle. Yes, we will have that next week. That will be a guarantee because Zach, whether he's here or not, has a little bit more time, and we will get that done.
Absolutely.
So, and I have a lot to say, and I know you have a lot to say on it. But we are looking forward to AEW Double or Nothing coming up on Sunday night. Of course, Zach, you're going to C4 tomorrow night. We'll have a review on both of those coming up probably as early as Monday. So we hope you enjoy the weekend. And remember, if you're not first, you're Zach. This is wrestling.